For decades, millions of people around the world have lived in the shadows of a mysterious and debilitating illness, dragged down by crushing exhaustion, mental fog, chronic pain, and a host of other symptoms that come and go without warning. Doctors often had no answers. Some dismissed the condition as stress, depression, or even laziness. Patients were left feeling isolated, misunderstood, and sometimes even blamed for their own suffering. But now, after years of being ignored by mainstream medicine, a powerful new discovery is changing everything. Imagine your body's internal systems, your gut, your immune defenses, and your energy supply, all speaking to each other in a complex, silent language. They send signals back and forth like a well-coordinated network, keeping you healthy, energized, and functioning. Now imagine that network suddenly falling out of sync. The messages get scrambled. The connections break. One system stops listening to another. This isn't science fiction. It's what scientists now believe is happening in people with a long misunderstood condition often called chronic fatigue, a serious and disabling illness that goes far beyond just feeling tired. And for the first time, researchers have used artificial intelligence to map exactly how this breakdown occurs, revealing a clear biological fingerprint of the disease. This isn't just another study. It's a turning point. Using a cutting-edge AI platform, scientists have analyzed thousands of data points from blood, stool, and patient symptoms to uncover a consistent pattern of disruption across the immune system, gut bacteria, and metabolism. The AI was able to identify who had the illness with astonishing accuracy, close to 90%, simply by reading the biological signals in their body. That kind of precision has never existed before for this condition. For patients who have spent years searching for validation, this is like finally being seen after living in darkness. What makes this discovery so powerful is not just the technology, but what it reveals about the human body. The gut, long thought of as just a digestive organ, is now understood to be a central hub of health, influencing everything from mood to immunity. Inside your intestines lives a vast community of microbes, trillions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi, that help break down food, produce essential nutrients, and even train your immune system. These microbes don't just sit there quietly doing their job, they're in constant conversation with the rest of your body, sending chemical messages through the bloodstream that affect how you feel, think, and function. In people with chronic fatigue, that conversation has gone terribly wrong. The balance of good and bad microbes is off. Beneficial compounds that should be flowing through the body are missing. One of the most important of these is butyrate, a fatty acid made by healthy gut bacteria. Butyrate does more than just feed the cells lining the gut. It reduces inflammation, supports brain health, and helps regulate energy. When levels drop, as they do in chronic fatigue, the body loses a key tool for maintaining balance. It's like losing a translator in a high-stakes negotiation. The parties are still talking, but no one understands what's being said. At the same time, the immune system, which should be defending the body, appears to be stuck in overdrive. Certain immune cells that are sensitive to changes in the gut environment become hyperactive, flooding the body with inflammatory signals. This isn't the kind of inflammation you can see, like a swollen ankle or a sore throat. It's a quiet, simmering kind of fire that burns beneath the surface, exhausting the body's resources and contributing to the overwhelming exhaustion that defines the illness. These immune cells are supposed to respond to infections, but in chronic fatigue, they seem to be reacting to something else, possibly the altered state of the gut microbiome itself. Then there's metabolism, the engine that powers every cell in the body. Think of it as the body's power plant, converting food and oxygen into usable energy. In chronic fatigue, this system is running inefficiently. Key metabolic pathways are disrupted, especially those involving tryptophan, an amino acid that plays a role in mood, sleep, and immune regulation. Normally, gut bacteria help process tryptophan into compounds that calm the immune system and support brain function. But in this condition, this process is thrown off, leading to a buildup of intermediate molecules that may actually promote inflammation instead of reducing it. It's as if the body's fuel is contaminated, causing the engine to sputter and stall. The real breakthrough comes from seeing how all these systems are connected. For years, researchers studied them in isolation, looking at immunity here, gut bacteria there, metabolism somewhere else. But the body doesn't work that way. It's a network, not a collection of parts. And only by looking at the whole picture can we begin to understand what goes wrong in complex illnesses like chronic fatigue. That's where artificial intelligence comes in. Unlike traditional methods, which struggle to make sense of thousands of variables at once, AI can detect patterns hidden deep within massive datasets. It doesn't just look for one cause or one marker, it maps the entire landscape of dysfunction. And what it found was striking. The AI didn't just separate patients from healthy individuals, it linked specific biological changes to specific symptoms. It showed how shifts in gut bacteria were tied to sleep problems and digestive issues. It revealed how immune activity correlated with pain and exhaustion. It even suggested that the longer someone has been sick, the more entrenched these disruptions become, like ruts forming in a dirt road after repeated use. This isn't just a snapshot of the disease, it's a dynamic story of how it evolves over time. Perhaps most importantly, this research offers something that's been missing for far too long: proof. Not anecdotal evidence, not patient testimony, but hard, measurable data showing that chronic fatigue is a real, biological illness. For years, people suffering from this condition have been told their symptoms were psychological, that they just needed to rest more, exercise more, or think positively. But you can't think your way out of a broken metabolic pathway or an imbalanced microbiome. These are physical realities, detectable by machines, predictable by algorithms. And now, for the first time, they can be seen. The implications go far beyond diagnosis. This kind of detailed biological map opens the door to personalized treatments. Instead of guessing what might help, doctors could one day use a patient's unique profile to guide therapy, rebuilding their gut microbiome with specific probiotics, calming their immune system with targeted drugs, or correcting metabolic imbalances with precision nutrition. Because the microbiome and metabolism are influenced by diet, lifestyle, and environment, there may be ways to intervene without relying solely on medication. Imagine a future where a simple stool test could reveal which foods to eat, which supplements to take, or which therapies to try, tailored to the individual, based on their own biology. And the impact doesn't stop with chronic fatigue. Scientists have long noticed that many people who survive serious viral infections, including those caused by Epstein-Barr virus or SARS-CoV-2, go on to develop long-term symptoms that look almost identical to this condition. This has led to the growing recognition of long COVID as a post-viral syndrome with striking similarities to chronic fatigue. The same biological disruptions, gut imbalance, immune dysregulation, metabolic dysfunction, appear in both conditions. That means the insights gained from studying chronic fatigue could directly benefit the millions of long haulers struggling to recover from COVID-19. It suggests that these illnesses may share a common root, not in the virus itself, but in how the body responds to it. What's emerging is a new understanding of chronic illness, one that moves beyond simple cause and effect thinking. It's not always about eradicating a pathogen or fixing a single broken gene. Sometimes, the problem is a system-wide collapse, a cascade of failures that begins in one part of the body and spreads to others. And once that cascade starts, it can be incredibly difficult to reverse. The body gets stuck in a new, dysfunctional state, like a computer frozen in a loop it can't escape. That's why recovery can be so slow, and why rest alone is often not enough. The system needs to be reset, not just given more time. This research also highlights the limitations of animal models in studying complex human diseases. Mice and other lab animals don't experience chronic fatigue the way people do. They don't report mental fog, extreme exhaustion after minor activity, or the long recovery periods that follow. Their immune and nervous systems are different. Their microbiomes are different. So while animal studies can provide clues, they can't fully capture the human experience. That's why direct research on patients is so crucial. By analyzing real people with real symptoms and real biological data, scientists can uncover patterns that no lab experiment could predict. The decision to share this data openly with the global scientific community is another game changer. Instead of keeping findings locked behind paywalls or proprietary software, the team behind this study is inviting others to explore the dataset, test new hypotheses, and build on what's been discovered. This kind of collaboration could accelerate progress in ways that isolated research never could. It's a recognition that solving complex diseases requires collective intelligence, many minds working together, across disciplines and borders. For patients, this moment feels like a long overdue reckoning. After years of being dismissed, doubted, and gaslit by a medical system that couldn't see what was happening inside their bodies, they now have something tangible, a biological signature, a measurable difference, a name for what they've been living with. It's not just about getting a diagnosis. It's about being believed. It's about knowing that your suffering has a cause, and that cause can be studied, understood, and eventually treated. But there's still a long road ahead. While the AI model performed exceptionally well, it needs to be tested in larger, more diverse populations. The findings must be replicated. Clinical trials based on these insights will take time. And access to advanced diagnostics and personalized treatments won't happen overnight. There's also the challenge of translating complex biological data into practical tools that doctors can use in everyday practice. Not every clinic has the resources to run multiomics tests or interpret AI-generated reports. Bridging that gap will require investment, education, and policy changes. Still, the direction is clear. We are moving away from a world where chronic fatigue was seen as a mystery or a myth, and into one where it's understood as a multi-system biological disorder. We're beginning to see the invisible. We're hearing the whispers of the body's internal network, finally deciphering its broken code. And with every new discovery, we come closer to restoring balance, for the millions who have waited far too long. This isn't just a victory for science. It's a victory for empathy. It's a reminder that when people say they're sick, we should listen. That when symptoms don't fit into neat categories, we should dig deeper. That technology, when used wisely, can give voice to the voiceless and light to the unseen. The story of chronic fatigue is no longer one of silence and skepticism. It's becoming a story of discovery, dignity, and hope. And for the first time in a very long time, people living with this illness can look to the future and say, maybe, just maybe, things are going to change. If you made it this far, take a moment, because if you've ever felt dismissed, worn down, or told to just push through, this discovery is for you. What scientists are now uncovering isn't just about biology or data, it's about dignity. It's about finally recognizing that exhaustion that no amount of sleep fixes, the brain fog that makes simple tasks feel impossible, the pain that comes and goes without reason, these aren't weaknesses. They're signs of a body in distress, sending signals we're only now learning to hear. This breakthrough changes everything. Not because it offers an instant cure, but because it proves something real is happening beneath the surface. And when science sees it, doctors can treat it, insurers can cover it, and society can stop questioning it. For millions who have fought just to be believed, that validation is everything. If this resonates with you or someone you love, don't stay silent. Share this video, talk about it, keep the conversation going. Progress doesn't happen in labs alone. It happens when people speak up, when stories are heard, and when we demand better for those who've waited too long. And if you're struggling right now, know this, you're not broken. You're not imagining it. And you're not alone. Science is finally catching up, and with every discovery, we move one step closer to answers, to treatment, and to healing. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and let's keep following this story together. Because hope, after years of waiting, is starting to feel real.